let me put the charger on. Charger on. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit's tangled. Oh, no. No, that's still the other controller. Here it is. Charger. Done. Do breaksy. How funny. Haha. They won't suspect a thing. Don't worry. I'll still... Oh, what the fuck? Audio? Audio. Testing audio. What the fuck? Audio? Audio. Testing audio. Audio is so fucking delayed. Why is it so delayed? Well, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't delayed and it was just not working for some fucking reason. Still testing audio. Testing, testing. Audio is fine. I don't know what the fuck happened. I was thinking about, like, what if I just didn't read, you know? Just to fuck with people. Like, what if I just, you know, not read? Because if I start reading, I gotta read all 3 books before I can finish it, you know? So these 3 stories include Fragility, Lolly's Game, and Under Construction. Want to know something that I find very fascinating about it? Is that despite Lolly's Game being on the cover, right? It throws a curveball, and like, it's the second story, not the first. The first story is Fragility, where in the other Fazbear Fright books, wink wink, nudge nudge, the cover is usually the first story, so I was taken aback. I can't finish the other story because I gotta either finish the games I'm on, basically, yeah, finish the games I'm on, so I can re-download fucking, what's the fucking game called? You know, Back for Blood, so I can finish the fucking story for consistency. I hear the little bastard scurrying, scratching the walls, scratching the boxes underneath my bedside. The little bastard is desperate, but there's nothing to eat, my dear pest. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I guess the part of me is just have the stream up until fucking, Knock on It gets here, because, I guess he fucking found me, so I guess we gotta finish up reading, just to fuck with him. Let me just check something real quick. Actually, I want to read, but I'm not sure if I'm going to read, right? So there's no 100% guarantee that I will read a story. As you guys know, completing Night 4 was a successful failure. We may have failed, but we've gotten some consistency, you know? That's good. In the Flesh, that's what it was called. Sorry, I mistook in the story. This is apparently a story in Tales of the Pizza Collectors called Help Wanted, and I mistook that for In the Flesh because of, because In the Flesh is about making a VR game, and Help Wanted is. But I don't think it literally means the VR game. I think it just means, looking for a job, help wanted. Sorry for the heavy breathing. I'm a fat bastard, and moving is rather difficult. So today's story is Frailty. I thought it was Fragility. No, it's Frailty. Whoa. That in every start of the story? Oh, it is. What the fuck? So, before we start, there's page 1 to 73, right? Just reading the first story. I'm not going to be adding these to the playlist just yet, because one, I want to finish the other series, and putting them order would be a pain. But I will change the titles and shit. So apparently apparently for these future books, rather than like, so it's still the black and white, like black page with the white writing, but like almost a different font. So the first sentence is like big white letters, where the other ones are little white letters. The main character, Jack, is a EMT, and he's trying to resuscitate this kid that like got into a crash, and it's not going too well. Just why I got a burp. Pardon me, sorry. And he's like, his partner's like, we got a call. He's like, come on, just one more. It's like, yeah, no, of course nothing happens, and they had to call the time of death. And while on the way back, what did it say? Mayor? Manor. Officer Manor, okay, so it's an officer. He's like, kid didn't make it? He's like, no, unfortunately. Damn, that sucks. You know? Very dangerous out here. Like, especially with how rainy and stormy it is. And he's like, don't I know it? He's basically been called out here multiple times because of how dangerous that area is. And he's like, damn, especially, you know, like around a graveyard, bad vibes. He's like, that's just a coincidence. It's pissing down rain, which I think is very soothing and relaxing, but that's just me. Heard something rustle in the bushes, but couldn't see anything from the fucking pouring rain. piss-pouring rain, he sees a figure. A dark silhouette. He can't really make out any details because, you know, it's fucking pissing down rain. But he's just hovering over. I thought they put the body in the ambulance, but they just put a bag over, like a tarp over the body and just leave it. And he's like, what the fuck is he doing? And he pulls out, the fucking figure pulls out a knife. And he's like, hey! Stop that! And the fucking, the figure gets startled. He's like, oop, I've been got it, oop. And fucking just dips. And he's like, yo, you good? What are you yelling? Like, there was a figure over there by the bushes. And the officer, like, starts using his flashlight. Are you sure? I can't really see anything. He's like, how long have you been, you know, how long is your shift? He's like, I don't know, like 24 hours? About 24 hours. He's like, damn, I shouldn't, you know, mention cemetery. I was just messing with you, man. He's like, you know what, yeah, maybe you're right. I should probably get some rest. And he goes over to, you know, he goes over to, like, move the bag. And he sees, like, the tarp's been moved. He's like, what the fuck? He quickly pulls it off, and the, like, blood, like, smeared all over the kid's face, right? And he's like, he's like, the tarp moved. Like, are you sure? Like, quick, get it going. He's like, just do it, man. He's like, alright. He's like, he quickly pulls out, like, this little, I don't know, it says portable oxygen mask. It has to be small. Like, oh, like, man, are you alright? Do you remember anything? And the kid just nods. He's like, look, he's like, oh, well, we were going a little too fast on a wet road and, you know, this car wrapped around a tree. He's like, shit, man, you know, you got a great fucking miracle. You got a second chance. Just relax. We're gonna get you to the hospital. And then it cuts to some nurse named Jessica mopping the floor. Be a lot of different flavors for there to be a favorite. Okay, that's a dumb question actually, because like even with like pizza places IRL, there's still multiple options. I'm a fucking idiot. My bad. So this new character, Jessica, is basically trying to be as invisible as she can, you know? Only talks when necessary, only starts conversation when someone else talks to her, you know, hides her face when people walk by. She tends to eavesdrop about all different things, you know? Ooh, sorry, my bad. The kid's asking when he can go home. He's like, oh, well, you know, hopefully soon. You know, he's like, I'm feeling a lot hungrier. And they're like, you know, they're so relieved because that means he's getting strength to be hungry, you know? I don't know if that's how it works, but that's what I think is happening. And the father's like, that's my boy. It's like, how about when, you know, when you're feeling better and you can come home, we'll have a pizza party and get your favorite pizza from the Freddy's Mega Pizza Plex. Is that the, I thought it was just called the Pizza Plex. That's, You know, he's like, yeah, and let's make it a celebration. He's like, and, you know, the kid's like, oh, that sounds really great, actually. But there's like apparently some flakes on him. The mother goes out to ask about it. Or is starting to complain to worry. It's like, you know, I don't want anything that'll make him sicker. And he's like, what is that, you know? You know, what is that? The worst thing you can hear from a nurse looking after your kid is, I don't know. It's like, oh, that is quite, like, it's like, oh, that looks a bit, like, you know, imagine having a large sack on your, like, arm, right? And it's, like, filled with, like, liquid, right? It's like, is that gonna kill him? Do we get rid of it? You know, what do we do, doctor? And the doctor responds, I don't know what that is. That is not something I want to hear. Okay, so from my perspective, I'm just going to die. And, you know, the nurse is like, oh, don't worry, you know, she just brushes the flakes off. She's like, oh, we'll get some cleaners to sweep it by. He's like, I don't want any cleaning products near my son to impede his progression of health or whatever. I have a question, right? Just wait. Let me go to page. I was gonna say 45. Yeah, 45, or no, how about 30? Page 30, I'll make myself a cup of tea. 41? I don't know. I want to get into the story, like, halfway. So, a nurse assistant named Colin is talking to a nurse assistant named Mercy. Not Mercy. Marcy? Macy, sorry. And they're just talking like... Well, I wouldn't say they're talking behind her back, but Colin is saying how weird and creepy Jessica is, the one that was mopping, just keeping to herself. He's like, you know, she's clearly alive, but she's not living. And the Macy's like, yeah, you watch too many horror movies. He's like, how the fuck do you think horror movies get made? They see shit that creeps them out and writes it down. And then out of nowhere, while they were talking, like a rusted can falls off, and fucking Colin screams like a bitch, like, eek! And it's just like, Macy's like, where did that come from? So he's like, oh, it must be the, you know, the chef, you know, the people in the cafeteria. I'll tell them to be careful where they're throwing their garbage. So he calls over Jessica. It's like, hey, could you, you know, throw this out? Jessica simply nods and, you know, takes the can and, you know, goes to, you know, leave. But they're like, you know, oh, also, you know, Jessica slowly turns to look at Macy, and Macy, like, gives a big smile. It's like, you're doing really great, you know? And, you know, even though Jessica gives back a smile, like, it describes, like, something's... It feels like there's something wrong with her, right? You know? She has, like, some, like, bright lipstick, not lipstick, but, like, how do they describe it? Delicate and full, whatever the fuck that means. Her face was slim and pretty, but her eyes are, like, you know, dark, like, just dark like a dead fish. Or just like, you know, you get what I mean? They were just empty, devoid of any emotion. Her face is pale, and I was gonna say, is pigmentation the right one? You know, the loss of a lot of pigmentation. But that might not be the right word. She's very fucking pale. And, you know, he's like, you must be a big help at home, you know? Yeah, but she's like, Jessica's like, I'm glad. But, like, as she turns away, Colin's like, I'm telling you, that bitch is fucking creepy. But, Macy just waves them off and goes, oh, hush. Got my hopes up a little bit, but that's alright. Basically, Macy says, like, she's just a girl and you're a grown-ass man. If she attacks you, I'm pretty sure you can fucking fight her off. And he's like, don't count on that. Like, she didn't want to admit it herself, but whenever... I don't know if Macy's a guy or girl, so... but whenever Macy looked into, like, Jessica's eyes, it broke their heart because... one reason or another, I kind of spaced out. On Jessica's break, she goes to this, like... what you call it? Hospital's chapel. And it was empty of grieving families, which she liked it that way because it was nice and peaceful, right? And she sat up front with some freshly planted white flowers she smelled. There was candles to be lit, Oh, I gotta sneeze, you fucking bastard. Sorry. Ugh. Yeah, but she's praying that she wants to help people and right her own wrongs and help those, give her strength to help those in need. And someone's like, do you need anything, miss? And she got a little bit startled because she didn't expect anyone to actually answer or be here, sorry. And it was a priest, basically describing what a priest wore, like white collar, black clothes, you know, like grayish hair. She has like this little hot locket she's working on. Thick eyebrows over kind brown eyes. Fuck. Yeah, and I thought it was the priest from room 1280. And I'm like, oh, it's a callback, that's sick. You know, glad to see he's doing alright after the fucking events that he had to go through. Well, I guess I can't say he had to go through, because he chose to go through those events. Although the outcome wasn't planned. So apparently their father's name is Jeremiah. And he's like, you look really pale. Do you need anything? Food, water, snack, drinks? And she's like, oh, well, I'm fine, I think. I'd look much better working. And he's like, working? Yeah, I kind of like sweep and clean around the children's wing and keep it tidy for them. Get close to those who need her help. I have lemonade. So once I reach page 15, I will take a sip of lemonade. And then page 29, I will take a little break to stretch my legs. And page 41, I shall make a cup of tea. I already forgot the order. Fuck. I just know page 15, I will drink my lemonade. I think the kid with like stuff on his chest, is that the same kid who, like, the one the paramedics saved before? My bad. Fascinating. Fascinating. She explains that she overheard the situation of the paramedics, you know, and she's like, the EMTs couldn't save that boy, but I did. So it's kind of implying that the dark figure in black was Jessica. She's like, oh, I'm glad I was able to help on time. And the priest is like, well, most people come here because they have something to talk about and want to let their burdens be lessened, you know? And sometimes talking helps you lessen a burden. So I'm always here if you wish to talk. And, you know, she's like, yeah, that's nice, but I don't think you'll truly understand my purpose. And she just fiddles with her little pendant. And she's like, oh, that's a nice little, you know, locket you have there. What is it? He doesn't say anything, and after a little while, he simply goes, peace be with you, Jessica, and leaves. She then goes to a empty restroom stall and applies some makeup and does this whole process to look a little livelier, but also wore black clothing because it's more unwelcoming. Saying that, you know, when she smiled, people would smile back and be genuinely interested in what she had to say. fascinating. I'll use this receipt as the bookmark. So she goes back to her duty, and as she's mopping, she hears cartoons, right? And she's looking around, and it's just this little boy with like brown curly hair, just resting with a green elephant. And she gently takes out her like little locket and a pocket knife, right? And basically what she's doing is, I don't know what she's doing, but she's like carving little flakes out of the pocket knife over the child. And that's supposed, you know, she looked behind her to see if anyone is watching, because it would look like she was trying to hurt the kid, but no, she does this, like, you know, her bones ache, her lungs feel crushed, but she knows this is how to help people, right? And she stops when she thinks or feels that it's enough, and it makes sense, right? Basically, she goes to leave, but like the kid opens his eyes, says like, "Are you an angel?" And she's like, "No. You should go back to sleep." "But I don't want to sleep." "Well, you should. If you count sheep, you know, if you count sheep, then you'll get the energy, you know, you're looking for, or whatever." And he's like, "Sheep? Why sheep?" She's like, "Okay, what do you want to count?" He's like, "Oh, elephants. I like green elephants." And she's like, "Okay, count green elephants and you'll feel, you know, wary." And he's like, "Okay, 1 green elephant, 2 green elephant, 3 green elephant." And as she goes to like, she basically goes to leave, but like almost stumbles and feels like woozy, right? And she sees a rusted spring and she grabs it and like probably is gonna throw it out, but it makes sense, right? Think about it. If she was there, right, with the locket making little, you know, oh, that makes sense. So the person before might actually be, you know, the one she saved before, because the EMT person just saw like this person in dark clothing pull out a knife, but she wasn't going to like kill the kid. She was leaving little like flake markings to, so when the EMT came, you know, he, you know, got help. And that's why he probably had flakes when he got to the hospital, because, you know, that's really cool. I'm just thinking, right? Would she sacrifice, like, I'm just thinking, right? Would she sacrifice her own life to try and fucking, like, I guess it's people who are, I'm a little bit confused, because she helped the, I understand the dying kid, but she even helped the sleeping kid, right? Which made him feel better. So, could she help if she interacted? Actually, theoretically, before the events, right? Do you think Jessica could help heal the man in room 1280 before the events of the story, before, you know, the ending of, I'm not gonna say, but, you know, if you finish the story, you know, you know? I don't think I've seen her yet. Yeah, I've seen all of them. Except her. Okay, let me have another sip. Back to the story. Hold down and turn it up, and hold down and take a seat. Believe I know attention to the terrifying dreams. You are the walls and to walls and on the phone. Tonight you might be by yourself, but you are not alone. She questions why she keeps going to school and she, doesn't pay attention, doesn't talk to anyone. I guess it's more the fact that she doesn't want to draw attention from bad grades or just going missing. Pardon me. But all the gossip and chatter and, you know, screaming, laughing, crying, it just reminds her of the life she used to have and the one she, you know, she made one simple mistake and can't go back now. A bunch of other girls are bullying her. And, you know, she's like, I've heard it all before. Like, even though I don't want attention, I still get it, right? And it seems that the teacher is defending her because, you know, she's not really... She's... stopping bullying, that's what she's doing. Want to know my theory? And it's a really dumb theory. A really, really, really dumb theory, right? Just the stupidest of theories. But my theory is, and this is gonna be a spoiler for the ending of To Be Beautiful. So, like, you know, I was gonna say skip ahead or whatever. Click off the video, skip ahead or whatever, but this may contain spoilers for To Be Beautiful, so I recommend watching something else, right? My theory is that... See, what I didn't understand, right? I didn't understand until I read the visual novel, because sometimes I miss some pieces, is that Eleanor replaced Sarah, right? Or the main character, right? And my theory is that it kind of backfired in the sense of originally it was Eleanor, but slowly Eleanor is starting to believe and think that she is the original Sarah, right? The only problem is she believes that, like, I assume that in her thoughts, she knows she's still a robot, but thinks that she got fixed with the necklace. So, she knows she's not a normal girl anymore, but doesn't understand that she's dead. And so, her current memories are being, like, overridden by the past. So she knows she's different, and she knows she's no longer human, or thinks she's no longer human. You get what I'm saying? She made a mistake that she can't go back on, right? Probably finding Eleanor in the fucking locket, you know? Not realizing that she is Eleanor. She thinks she's the original, just no longer whole. It's a really dumb theory, but, you know, it's a theory I have nonetheless. minus space. Okay, let me get to page 30. I can push to get to page 30, then I can stretch and just rest my head a little bit. Scolding. The teacher is scolding the girls bullying Jessica. He's like, my brain's short-circuiting, sorry. Being woken up is not a good way to go about things, right? But yeah, the teacher's like, wouldn't you want to be hanging out with your friends instead of cleaning up after, you know, the lab class? And they're like, nah, we're good. She's like, oh, how sweet. Well, can I at least finish my sentence without being interrupted? And they're like, you know, yeah, sorry. And then so a guy picks up the eraser that they threw at Jessica and threw it back at them, like, wow, real mature, bitch. They didn't say that. And they're like, what's his fucking deal? Like, oh, he's new here. The new kid? Oh, I've read that. Sorry, I'm just jumping to fucking conclusions. And he goes on and starts talking to Jessica, and she's responding, and she's like, shit, why did I say that? I wanted to be invisible. Fuck. It's like, oh, well, the teacher's like, well, you know, you have to pair up with someone, and try and pair up with someone, and, you know you can complete this with, instead of with your friends, you know, goofing off. Yeah, sorry, my brain spaced out again, sorry. And he, you know, they're talking, and he's like, oh yeah, there were people like that in my previous school, you know, but I didn't hang out with them because they think being mean to everyone for no reason is cool when it's not. But like, yeah, we should totally, like, team up for the project or whatever the fuck. And she's like, well, I don't have any other choice. He's like a type of, like, person that she'd want attention from in her old life. You know, again, with the whole to be beautiful, she wanted attention from the popular girls, from, you know, the guys and such. But now she just wants to be left alone. Also, again, I'm jumped to conclusion. They said the name of the school. I'm like, is that the one from the one I'm reading? Like, he told me everything? But I could be wrong. Sorry, it's just the more I read, the more it's feeding into my delusional theory. Yikes. It's so, like, I'm not saying, I mean, maybe I am saying it's boring and slow. No, every part has a slow part, you know, it is not all action-packed, and I just have to, like, nothing's happening, nothing interesting is happening. They're just trying to figure out what components they can use because they're going to make a little robot that moves. He disassembles a remote control car, asks the teacher how much they can use, and the teacher's like, you know, preferably, you know, they want you to salvage and shit like that instead of just buying the parts. And sorry. Yeah, apologies. And it's like, oh, we can go to the junkyard. And she's like, ooh, yeah, I can't do that. He's like, what? Why? Yeah, I totally. I have work. Sorry, I completely forgot about that. He's like, oh, well, you know, maybe another time. Yeah, no, you can go to the junkyard if you want. It's not really my thing. You see where I'm going with this? And he's like, what? It's not like I want to fucking go around digging in the junkyard either, but it's for both of our grades. He tries grabbing her wrist, but she pulls her hand away like she's being stung. He's like, are you alright? You look pale. You know, maybe you should go home. I can walk you home if you want. And he's like trying to be kind, but it comes off as overbearing. And she's like, nope, sorry, talk to you tomorrow, bye. And she barely makes it out into, you know, the outside of the school before she kind of, I would say collapses, but like, collapse implied that you go unconscious, right? Where she's unconscious, but she's just resting against the tree, holding her little thingy-mabob. Oh, what is this? On the back, the ultimate guide, 5 Nights at Freddy's. Huh. Spoiler, Ice Freddy. Yeah, and she's just not feeling that. My fucking brain can't fucking concentrate. I'm really trying. It's just so boring. I fucking hate when it's slow, and I know it's not the book's fault, and I don't hate the slow parts, but I can read this by myself, right? But what am I gonna fucking tell you? She is conflicted on having feelings for this guy, go to the graveyard, talks about cobwebs and vines and spiders, talks about how, oh, maybe one day she won't be buried, yada yada yada. How the fuck am I supposed to regurgitate this information? It just is so fucking, like, I don't want to skip the pages, but there's nothing interesting happening. If I was reading this by myself, that's fine. but I'm trying to read it in a way so that I can tell you what's happening, because, you know? Okay, so maybe I'm wrong with the whole connection to To Be Beautiful thing, guys. Sorry, stretching. She feels like she can't let she thought she had her emotions, you know, in control, easy to cover up, but, you know, around him, she feels weird. She feels like she could start to like him, which is impossible, maybe in her past life, but, you know, she, you know, maybe could have been friends with him, and maybe something more. But now she, because of some mistake she, you know, some choice she made, that was a mistake, she can't go back, you know? She walks through the graveyard. She walks through the graveyard, you know, getting familiar and reading all the different headstones, wondering if she'll ever be buried one day, but probably not. She goes down to this little old crypt thing, you know, opens the door, closes it behind her, and in this little hidey hole that was like a sitting area made of stone covered in cobwebs. She cleans it as much as she can and then proceeds to, you know, sit down, like, or not on the chair, but like around her, because it has all her stuff. Toiletries, hairbrush, shit like that. A duffel bag filled with like her black clothings and like stuff like that, see? So this is where she sleeps. That's kind of sad. She has a rabbit foot that she carried everywhere. She thought it brought her luck. Ow. Because robots can't shit. Why would a robot need fucking like toiletries? Or maybe she thinks she needs toiletries because she thinks she's the original Sarah. But again, it's just getting shitter and shitter. No pun intended. Ow. She holds the rabbit foot, saying she used to carry this everywhere, you know, and used to believe it would bring good luck. Of course, she doesn't believe that now, but it's a simple reminder of who she once was, and she will never be like her again. And like, she is just not doing well. Like, she's struggling to keep herself up, like, has this, exhaustion that, like, is in her bones. Right? And she feels like, not her chest necessarily, but, like, around that area where, or inside her shirt where she's keeping the tiny heart locket. I imagine it's like a wooden carving of a locket that's shriveled in size, and I'm guessing, I was gonna say something, but I feel like that's the wrong interpretation, right? What I was going to say, the little locket is connected to her fertility, but I don't think that's the right word. Like, health is what I'm meaning, right? Where she sacrifices her own health to make other people healthy, happy, you know, better. But that sacrifices her own health, and because of that, I'm betting you it's gonna kill her one day. Because as soon as there's nothing left to give, there's, you know, nothing left to live. And Macy, the nurse before that was being kind, apparently she's a female. I'm joking. I mean, she really is like Like, because as I said, I questioned, I didn't know if Macy was like male or female. And even though Jessica tried to kind of keep her distance, Macy was just a really cheerful person that kind of just sucked everyone in, like with like joyous vibes. And she's like, today's a good day. Do you want to know a good day? Why it's a good day? And Jessica's eagerly waiting because everybody's eating and everybody's even laughing. Usually it's pretty bummer on this floor, but not today. And you gotta take your wins while you can or whatever. And Jessica's like, take wins when you can. I'll remember that advice. And basically, Macy looks her in the eye like, are you feeling alright? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm always here if you need me for anything. Well, she's like, is anything new? And she's like, nah, nothing new. Macy's like, well, that's glad to hear. Well, anyway, duty calls, and goes to wave down another patient. And she's like, Macy's nice, but it's getting harder to avoid her questions about my personal life. And someone else is like, damn it, another one. Why? There's junk all over the floor. Can you come clean this up? And she's like, oh shit, must have forgotten or missed one. And she's like, oh, really? And just kind of puts it in the trash. And then she sees a new person, and the person notices her, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so-and-so, right? Like, I've basically been here this morning. Like, you work here?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Why you want to be around so many sick kids, sorry?" And she's like, she thought to herself, "Because I want to help them." But she's like, "It's a job. Like, doesn't it bother you?" And she pauses for a second and goes, "Am I supposed to treat you any differently?" She's like, "No, but everyone looks around me with pity and fear in their eyes, like it's contagious. Like they're gonna catch what I have." It's like, "But you, I don't see that." They stare at each other for a little while before it gets awkward. She's like, "I got a job to do." It's like, "Oh, okay, well, you know, see you around. I'll still be here, unfortunately, eating Jello." And then it cuts to Robert, the dude, right? It's like, "Look at all this junk I found, you know? Like, it'd be perfect for the robot, wouldn't it?" Her first instinct was to fucking toss it off the side. But instead, she probably, she sat like a statue. Okay, 3 more pages, and then fucking mice in the way. It's not even that it's slow, really, because I'm pretty sure technically the hospital part is slow, but I guess it's more interesting with the fact where the little fucking voodoo charm shit is more interesting. "I'm the eldritch sea god of the fates declined, but I pretend to be a natural high school girl. In the meantime, hopefully no one finds out my eldritch heritage." Robert is proud of the things he found in the junkyard. He was a bit nervous because he thought Jessica didn't want to be his partner anymore. But she's like, as I said, I just wasn't feeling well. The teacher walks up and starts, checking their project out. It's like, oh, very good, very good. So how do you feel about, how do you feel about this project? And she's like, good, I guess. How do you feel about Robert as your partner? I don't know. A good partner? Good, I guess. And he's like, yeah, Jess is also a good partner. We're gonna, crack this shit down. We're gonna so-and-so. And they're like, the teacher's like, oh, well, I like your enthusiasm. Let's see how you go over the course of the next couple days. And he's like, setting things out. It's like, yeah, let's do this. She wants to help, but she's just like a statue. She doesn't move, despite him doing all the work. We're on page 30. Ah, fucking bitch bastard. Oh, you fucking prick wannabe fuck. You dare cut me my own jacket? I'm laying on my fucking jacket, right? And it just fucking completely uses the zipper part to fucking harm me, you bastard bitch. Sorry, I just spaced out. I was looking at a little word written. Little word written. Ah! Little spider bastard. We're on page 30 and 31. How many pages up until the end? Probably 40 pages, right? If we're on 30 and the 70, that's 30, so 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, yeah, 40 pages. I beg your fucking pardon? So something, even so theoretically, right? Let's say we all agree my theory's stupid, right? But it's just they keep focusing on, you know, a choice she regretted, and now she pays the price, and something that makes her not want to go into the junkyard. She basically is trying to make her feelings play possum, but right now she's playing possum. And she's like, you know, the junk itself is not going to hurt me. It's no threat. She nervously grabbed it, bring it close to her, and then put it back down. Pardon me. And she's like, success. And then it cuts to Macy, Nurse Macy, and she's talking to Billy, the one with the green elephant. And like, oh, your color's coming back to your face, and you have a full appetite, or shit like that, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, you're a big boy, aren't you? Yes, you are. Like, I'm a big boy. And he asks when will he see the angel again? And she asks with curiosity, angel? Yeah, the one who helped me feel better. He's like, oh, and how did she make you feel better? She came into the night and I felt better. I'm not sure how she did it. She must be magical. I like her. I want to see her again. Yeah. And of course, the nurse doesn't really believe him. Like, oh, he must have a guardian angel. And he pumps his fist in the air like, fuck yeah, I'm a guardian angel. And he's like, since you being such a big boy, how about I go get you some pudding? And she's like, chocolate, please. And she's like, sure thing. And as she leaves the room, she hears a loud clank. You know what she finds in the center of the hallway? A piece of a car muffler. looks around for who could have dropped it, but all she sees is Jessica, and she's like, Jessica, do you see who the fuck dropped this? And Jessica's eyes went oh shit. No, I didn't see anyone. It's like, oh, well, can you please throw this away? It's dangerous and unhygienic. And she's basically, Jessica goes to the janitor's closet to clean stuff up. And she talks to the other nurses, and there's no other, there's no other ones, it's only on the children's wing. It's in any other wings, it's not there, right? And she's getting really fucking pissed. She looks around and finds, rusted screws and fucking rusted cans, and she's just getting really annoyed. And then she finds some outside the chapel. It's like, could the culprit be in here? She basically puts the items she was carrying into the bin, and then goes inside and just sees a single old woman. He's like, the culprit? And the father walks up next to her after talking to someone, looking for other people to help. And he's like, can I help you, miss? And she's like, Jesus, sorry. I just didn't see you there. I'm like, oh, have you come here to pray or, take a rest? So no, sorry. Actually, no. I'm looking for the culprit. Thought they could the culprit of this prankster, and thought maybe I could find them here. And he's like, hopefully harmless, I presume. Well, it might not be, it could get my patients very sick. She's thinking about maybe giving them to security. Maybe giving them to security. Right? Just to give them a little scare. I don't know who it is, but I'm gonna find out. It's like, I'm sure you'll discover your truth soon enough. And then she's like, oh, there's this, she says, young girl named April, and we're hoping you could go to her room and, give her some of your prayers or some shit. So my theory, right? Again, I'm kind of sticking with this To Be Beautiful connection theory, because my theory is I'm saying this as in because I don't remember. I remember, the novel, but a lot of things I slipped over. So when I say this from the visual novel, it's because I read the visual novel and pieces are connecting that I didn't know. So whether it was from To Be Beautiful, right? Again, spoilers. You know how at the end, at least in the visual novel, Eleanor kind of transformed into Sarah, or at least the original Sarah before she started making changes. My theory, right, is that the illusion is starting to fade, where she still looks human, but like the metal pieces are of her, falling off of her. A lot of conversation about how they feel bad for Jessica. They think she needs a friend. And the father says, be easy, take it easy on the priest. Just remember, everyone has a story that we don't know yet. And Macy ponders like, yes, Father, I'll remember that. And then it kind of cuts to Jessica sat on a chair in Robert's father's room. So apparently their next meetup was like at his place, and she felt like it's a little bit, too close and too personal, right? But they have to get this fucking shit sorted out. There's some witty banter, her kind of being nervous about not putting the junkyard behind her. It's like, oh, they're just some pieces you find in a junkyard, Like, robots aren't original because they're trying to pick a name. Like, oh, well, that's not original for a robot. I'm like, robots aren't original. They're just hunks of junk metal that you find in a graveyard and put together. This kind of triggered a very strong emotion in her. It's not always about where things started from. Yes, it's about what you make of all the pieces once you have them. Jessica didn't like that. She frowned at that. But he's like, that's what my father said. Remember, he's kind of like a smart guy. He puts things together. His mother goes knock knock as she opens the door. That's the equivalent of me opening the door and going, it's locked. I'll read up to page 40 and 41, right? Which is, we're on page 37. And then I'll make it into two parts, right? But unlike the other one, right? Unlike the other one, where I can't really continue that at the moment, I will continue the pages later on today. You know, I just need a break because the slow parts aren't boring. Sorry, it's just, again, I don't think they're boring. I think they'd be interesting because it's not always action. You know, there's always slow parts in life and exciting parts of life. You know, it's like hard to just like, they're walking in the grass. They're talking about their favorite ice cream. She trips on her shoelace, scrapes her knee. They go to get bandages together. You know, she accidentally drops her ice cream. They go back to get more ice cream, but it's closed. But the vendor behind the store offers them ice cream for a discount. They think it's sketchy. You know, like, it's just, you know, turns out he's actually the mayor of ice cream, and because they trusted him, they get a year-long supply of ice cream for free every time they come to this location. Hooray, happy ending. You see what I mean? It's like, just seems kind of... But I guess what I like about this book, you need... It's kind of like a horror game, right? Not every part of the horror game is going to be scary. There are going to be things that lead up to a bigger scare, and then it dies down and then repeats, which is good. If you're always expecting a jump scare, then it loses its sting or whatever. Like, yeah, if you're like, that got me, but not as much as when you're constantly expecting one, you know? You're more scared of the nervousness to expect a jump scare instead of the fucking jump scare itself. Which, so me bitching about it's so slow, you know, that's on me, you know? I appreciate the slow and fast parts of the book. It's just, as I've already stated, his mom comes in with a tray of brownies and like milk, which is a weird combination, but I'm not judging. Like, oh, I thought my little scientists would, would be like hungry after their, great exploration. I know she probably, she probably doesn't say scientist, but I think it's funny if, like, she's trying to be supportive, but she gets it completely wrong. Like, we're making a robot. Do scientists not make robots? I mean, technically, yes or no? What about the little NASA guy, the little guy on the moon? Is he not a robot? I mean, he's a rover. What's the difference? I'm trying not to get into this because the more you go in, it's just going to confuse her more. Like, I'm just trying to be supportive. Like, I get that, Mom, but I guess you're somewhat right. Oh, so you're a scientist. So I was right. Inventors. Oh, inventors. Inventors can be scientists. Yes, Mom, they can. Anyway, you guys and gals or whatever the fuck she said, like, you two have fun. And she's like, oh, you're not allergic to anything, right? Jessica, like, no, I'm not allergic to anything. Like, oh, that's great. Enjoy. And apparently, she's a bit hesitant. Well, what's his name? Robert. Robert's like, oh yeah, these are fucking delicious, My mother has a hobby of baking. She's really fucking good at it. And he's like, what? Don't you want to try one? She's like, I don't know. Come on, Don't you want to try one? You want. And she's like, fine. She used to like brownies, but that was in her past life. And she doesn't want to have anything connected to her past life. She feels like she doesn't deserve it. And she's like, oh, these actually are really good. He's like, see, I told you she's a great cook. And he's like, oh, well, you never told me about, your family. Like, you never told me about your family. Well, you never asked. And, she interrupted him before he could say anything. I'm not wanting to share my details. As you know, I'm pretty weird. It's like, I wouldn't say weird. I think you're different, sure, but, that's what I like about you. Most girls just talk about themselves a little too much, And the drama, the gossip, it's exhausting. But you do things differently. Quiet. It's nice. She had no response to that, so he's like, anyway, so, the school prom is, prom is coming up, right? She's like, I'm not a junior. But he's like, I am. They met eyes and Robert seemed to blush. He brushed a nervous hand across his hair. I was wondering if you would like to go with me. What does senior mean? She says I'm not a senior. What does that mean? Seniors can't have proms? let me charge it. Charge it. Charge it. Fucking corded bastard. He asks her to prom, and she's fucking awestruck, like, what? He's like, oh, well, I was just wondering or hoping that you could, I don't know, take time off of your work, maybe paid leave, I don't know how it works, to come with me to prom. And she's like, he's like, well, unless, if you want to, I mean, if someone else has already asked. She's like, who would ask a zombie girl to prom? And then he's like, he gets, like, he was down, and then hearing that response, he got happy again. So, what do you say? She basically left him there saying, I'll see what I can do, and, you know, like, left and beelined it straight for the chapel. And she's, like, praying with her little locket thing, and she's asking for guidance and for help, because she thought she was on the right path, and she thought she threw everything away, but now, and thought she did a good job pushing people away, but now this new person that doesn't find her weird and now wants her, yeah, and now wants her to go to prom with him. Would it be selfish or wrong to give in a little and just have a little bit of her old life back, even though she deserves to be where she belongs? And the father is like, may I pray with you? And, you know, she's like, sure, yeah, whatever. And, you know, he's like, you know, what's troubling you? And then she kind of, I wouldn't say confess, because that sounds like she's keeping a secret, but, like, she's, like, explains, you know, what, like, how she feels and stuff, like, feel like she deserves to be here. And he's like, why do you feel like you can't give yourself a break? He's like, you know, the horrible, horrible past, you know? She got that, you know, what? A stroke, what? I got where I am, I gave up everything, so there had to be good for that, right? A good reason for that, right? Interesting. See, sometimes I have some questions about, like, there's some questions I'd be interested in asking priests and such, and I was talking to a support care worker, right? And I guess it still bothers me a bit, but it puts me at ease, if that makes sense. Because I have a question, you know? Like, if I have a question about something I feel guilty about, right? Or whatever, like, I would want to ask a priest their point of view, or what is the right thing to, you know, say, and then, you know what my support care worker said? They said, like, basically, it doesn't necessarily matter, because you could ask 4 different priests the same thing, and they could have all different answers, so then what then? You know, where would you go from there? Which one would you believe? You know, it's not like one is telling the truth and the other is lying. It's based on experience and point of view. And it honestly puts my heart at ease a little bit, because I know I am a sinful man, woman, thing, whatever you want to call me, right? I know I'm selfish, self-absorbed, self-centered, this, that, and third, yada, yada, yada. I'm fine with being sinful and selfish on my own, right? But what I don't want is when my own selfish, sinful acts, you know, lash out and affect friends and family that have nothing to do with it. You know? And I know when I say, at least this is, so if I was in your guys' shoe, this is how I would hear it, right? I know I say sinful, and when I say sinful, usually the first word that comes to my mind is like something sus, but I don't mean that. I mean sinful in any regard. Envy, greed, lust, wrath, pride, any of the sins. I don't want those strong emotions affecting any of my friends and family in a negative light, right? So I guess my thing is like, how do I prevent or forgive myself for doing such a thing? Honestly, if I'm gonna be honest, sometimes, like, as much as I try, I don't think I can forgive myself. And I do try, and it's hard, because you, as I heard, you are your own worst critic, and I feel like I don't deserve forgiveness, you know? Because I feel like I'm a horrible person, and that's how... No, sorry. We don't want to get into all of that, of how I push people away to protect myself and them, yada yada yada. Either you've heard it or you don't. We can come back to that another time. This is about the story, not about my own self-doubts and worth. But it's just the way that they said it, right? Something like opened my eyes in what they said, right? You know, she's asking, is it selfish to just want something for myself? And, you know, this, I don't know why, this opens my eyes a lot, because I feel like, I guess, a point of view, right? Again, because I feel like we're selfless people, you have to be nothing but selfless and help others and not yourself. But here it says, of course not. When we do work for others, we have to be open to receiving as well. Just wait. If we overgive, we become out of balance, and we can make ourselves ill or sad. Giving to others is a great gift, but yes, Jessica, giving back to ourselves is a gift as well. God loves all his children, and he wants everyone to feel happiness and love. And she looks at him almost sad, asking, how do you know? And he simply says, because I believe it's so. And she just leaves her head, you know, hanging down, sad. And he apologizes, but he knows from experience that you cannot help or save everyone. You simply can only help them go on the right path. And then as he gets up, he feels something like a metal gear where she was sitting. He's like, that's strange. He goes to look at where, you know, she is, but she's gone. She tried to sneak around and, you know, slope to do her job, but April's like, nah, bitch, I saw you, get your ass in here, we're having a chat. And she's like, ah, shit. You're not really good at that, are you? Because apparently recently she hasn't been doing well. And like, her little like heart locket thing is like wooden heart locket thing. It's like a sliver, you know, it barely exists. And she's like, there's an awkward pause, and it's like, I know you're curious, and if you're not gonna ask, it's blood cancer. Yay. You know, I kind of don't have any friends left because they think I don't want to know how much fun they're having. But I do, you know, I was athletic once. I used to play fucking all types of sports, and if I could give anything just to be able to do that, then I would. And then she's kind of just begging Jessica to, like, you know, have pity on this poor cancerous girl. Please, won't you tell me about your life? Let my life be your life. You know? It's like, which is the reasonable request, because they're around the same age, and although she's like, she doesn't, sorry, fuck you bastard, she doesn't really have a life, not the life you wanted. And that'll be all for part 1. I'll continue part 2 later on. I'll maybe get some rest, but it's whatever. But I promise I will come back to this. I haven't forgotten the other story. I'm just kind of retarded and completely forgot that I was using Back for Blood. I'm just kind of retarded. Okay, just testing audio. Yeah, but I was completely stupid and forgot. I forgot I was using it, you know, to download. I was using Back 4 Blood as a background to read the stories, and now I can't download it because there's not enough space, so I have to wait until I've finished these games, you know? Anyway, that should be all for now.